Number 10. Great Ball of Fire. On Saturday, March 20th at 2:50 p.m., residents of France and the United Kingdom witnessed something fantastic in the skies. They witnessed a very rare daytime fireball that was so intense that it triggered a sonic boom over both countries. The sonic boom was so loud that it was heard all the way from southwest England to the north of France. In fact, the boom was so intense that people thought there were fighter jets streaking across the skies above them. It was the Ministry of Defense who quickly came forward and announced there were no jets that day. It wasn't until later that satellite images confirmed a massive fireball meteor had broken apart in the atmosphere, creating one of the biggest fireballs ever seen in modern times. This wasn't just an ordinary meteor, though. It was what scientists call a fireball meteor. According to Live Science, a fireball meteor almost always emits light either equal to or greater than Venus seen in the sky at night. Fireballs burn this bright because of how fast they're going, usually going faster than the speed of sound. This is how they create a sonic boom before ultimately breaking apart. Also because of how big they are. Most fireballs come from parent asteroids that are, at a minimum, 3.3 feet or 1 meter across. According to the AMS, as meteors hit the planet's atmosphere, it slows down due to friction and heats up, releasing energy in the form of visible light. Number 9. Frozen iguanas. Only in Florida could a falling iguana alert be issued. The alert warned residents to be on the lookout for lizards literally dropping out of the sky. These alerts are activated only when the temperature gets so cold that iguanas slip into a state of dormancy. Any iguana that happens to be in a tree when the temperature gets so cold will fall off a branch and go crashing to the ground. This results in frozen iguanas literally raining down from above. And of course, the last thing anyone wants during the Christmas season is a frozen iguana knocking them in the head. Luckily, these iguanas aren't actually dead. They go into a kind of suspended animation and should absolutely not be touched or bothered when found on the ground. As soon as the sun rays come back out and the weather heats up, the iguanas will go back to their business and climb up their trees again. This usually happens in January when temperatures dip into the 30s Fahrenheit. Usually there's no damage caused by the lizards, except for one case in 2017 when a photographer had an iguana smash through his van's windshield. The iguana hit the windshield so hard that it snapped out of its dormant state and ran away. Number 8. UFO over Hawaii. A mysterious blue UFO has been spotted over Hawaii, with the entire thing being captured on video. This happened as recently as December 29th, 2020. As if the year couldn't get any worse, the sightings of the UFO prompted fears of an alien invasion. Eyewitnesses discovered the strange spacecraft hovering in the night sky on the Hawaiian island of Oahu. It was so obviously a UFO that people panicked and started calling 911. In the video footage taken of the unidentified flying object, a glowing blue form is visibly hanging out in the sky. It moved across the clouds and eventually crashed into the sea without making a sound. One eyewitness told Hawaii News Now that she even saw a second UFO appear. This one wasn't blue though. It was white and followed the same direction as the first one before eventually disappearing. The Federal Aviation Administration was quick to rule out a crashed aircraft. Nobody could say for certain what these terrifying objects were. Some claimed that the floating blue object could have been an LED kite. But what about the second one? What do you think? Can we chalk these sightings up to glowing kites, or should Hawaii be worried about alien invaders? Number 7. Waterspouts. Waterspouts are a fantastic phenomenon most people never get to see in their life. And yet, residents off the coast in Louisiana witnessed on August 20th, 2020, 6 waterspouts funneling from the sea to the sky in the Gulf of Mexico. Waterspouts are basically water tornadoes. They appear very rarely, and there's usually only one of them at a time. But this incident had 6 spinning all at once, making it look as though the world were about to end as spinning water tornadoes sped towards the shore. Waterspouts are generally rated as EF0 tornadoes, meaning they are actually quite weak. They only produce winds up to 85 miles per hour. But how does a waterspout form in the sky? Well, they are really just rotating columns of air that form over water. They don't actually suck any water. They definitely spray a lot of water around, but waterspouts are more like optical illusions created by air vortexes. The most waterspouts ever witnessed at the same time were 9 on the surface of Lake Michigan. Have you ever been lucky enough to see a waterspout? If so, where did you see it? Let me know in the comments section below. And while you're at it, go ahead and like this video and hit that subscribe button too. Number 6. A winged monster. Disturbing images of a monster creature with wings leaping between the trees has once again sparked fears that the legendary Mothman is back. For those of you who don't know, the Mothman is supposedly a monster that looks kind of like a human, but has large moth-like wings, and he's often spotted flying through the trees of West Virginia. The Mothman was first spotted in November of 1966 by gravediggers in Point Pleasant. There were further sightings all the way up until 1967, when 46 people died on the Silver Bridge, following a string of eyewitness accounts. Rumor has it that the Mothman is the sinister harbinger of doom! These most recent photographs came from a man in Point Pleasant. He discovered what almost looked like a man in a wingsuit flying through the darkness. He immediately sent the pictures to a local news outlet, and the rumors quickly spread that Mothman had returned to West Virginia. It definitely wasn't a giant bat. Is it possible that it could have been an owl or a different bird carrying off a snake or some other prey? So far as West Virginia residents are concerned, this creature is definitely the Mothman. Number 5. Blood rain. Sometimes, blood falls from the sky. In ancient times, people used to associate experiencing droplets of blood falling from above as signs of the apocalypse. In fact, incidents of blood rain have been reported as far back as the 8th century BCE. But what causes blood to literally rain down from the heavens? Blood rain is actually caused by dust and sand from the Sahara Desert. It's a type of weather phenomenon in which red dust and sand mixes with precipitation, and then what falls is red rain. Dust can blow as far as 2,500 miles or 4,023 kilometers from Africa, where it reaches Europe in places like the United Kingdom, Spain, and the south of France. It then falls in heavy droplets of crimson liquid. In Kerala, back in 2015, blood rain occurred because spores of green microalgae were moved through the atmosphere by clouds and blown across the earth on trade winds, mixing with the rain and falling as blood. Lucky for us, blood rain does not actually mean the end of the world is nigh. If you discover a bloody rain of terror spilling from the clouds, don't panic. Have you ever been bloody rained on? Number 4. Lights in the sky. In Australia, residents were terrified when they looked up at the night sky to discover what appeared to be a train of bizarre alien lights glowing in a perfect line across the empty sky. Someone even tweeted, "Please tell me that the long strain of lights in the sky moving fast over the Central West was some kind of military exercise flying in formation. Does Australia have 30-odd aircraft in the RAF that would fly closely together, evenly spaced in a line at 5 a.m.? Just for fun?" Sorry to burst your bubble. While these strange lights may have appeared to be part of an extraterrestrial invasion or some kind of glitch in the Matrix, they were actually just satellites. The lights in the sky made up a line of about 60 satellites. Unsurprisingly, the satellites belong to Elon Musk. Apparently, Musk has been launching dozens of satellites at a time as part of his Starlink project, something that is going to deliver high-speed internet to some of the most remote places in the world. His plan is to actually have what is basically a train of tiny satellites at very low orbit across the atmosphere, raining down affordable internet on everyone. According to ABC News, there are so far over 1,200 satellites in orbit, with plans of launching perhaps 30,000 more. Number 3. The Monster Star. Back in 2019, scientists witnessed an event unlike any other. They looked into the sky and discovered a giant star that they claim to be 2.5 million times brighter than our sun. Just try to imagine a star over 2 million times brighter than our own sun. Pluto would melt, and you would be turned to ash in seconds. The real mystery is where the star went after it was discovered. According to a new paper published in Royal Astronomical Society, The best theory scientists have is that the enormous star collapsed and turned into a black hole without exploding into a supernova first, though nobody can say just how in the universe that happened. Jose Grove from the Trinity College Dublin called it one of the most massive stars present in our local universe. It was located about 75 million light years from us. If true, this would be the first direct detection of such a monster star ending its life in this manner. Andrew Allen, study lead author and also of Trinity College, said in the statement. Number 2. Snake eel. In a shocking turn of events, amateur photographer Sam Davis found a heron flying through midair with a snake eel hanging from its stomach. Sam actually witnessed the moment the eel burst from the bird's stomach mid-flight. He even snapped a shot of the eel dangling bewildered as the heron flew on like nothing was happening. According to Sam himself, the heron went around the water and flew about like nothing was wrong. Sam did, however, spot eagles and even a fox trailing after the bird, probably waiting for it to keel over. But how did the eel get into the heron's stomach in the first place? And how did it get free? Well, herons are notorious gluttons. The heron probably stuffed the snake eel into its belly, only to have the snake eel perform a bold escape by slicing open the heron's stomach from the inside with the tip of its tail, and then slithering its way out. The problem for the snake eel was that it did so while the heron was airborne. Unfortunately, Sam never found out if either the eel snake or the heron survived the end of the day. Number 1. Aliens in China. In 2010, an unidentified flying object was spotted in the sky above Huangshao, China. It was so terrifying that the local Xiaoxian airport was forced to cease operations on July 7th. The object was first seen by a flight crew while preparing to descend at around 8:40 p.m. The flight crew notified air traffic control, the aviation authorities responded shortly after, and every outbound flight was grounded, while inbound flights were diverted to other airports. This UFO affected a total of 18 flights, according to ABC News. Normal operations started up again a few hours later, with Chinese media creating a firestorm of speculation as to what exactly the unidentified flying object was. Some thought it was a hidden United States bomber going towards China. Some thought it was an extraterrestrial from outer space, and others thought it could have been some kind of Russian satellite. Others put forth a more rational explanation, saying that the UFO was probably some kind of new aircraft or missile being tested out by the Chinese military. Pictures of the object were later released. The object appeared to be hovering in the sky, bathed in golden light and equipped with some kind of tail. Residents of the city also claimed that they witnessed red and white light spilling out of the mysterious object. To this day, nobody knows what the UFO was or why the airport shut down so quickly. Thanks for watching. What's the craziest thing you've ever found in the sky? Let me know in the comments, and if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button and come back soon for another awesome video. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.